everyone. I'm Adam Brown, and this is Show Point Today for Tuesday, December 16th. On today's show, Robyn Church will share a few last-minute gift ideas available at the Shell Point Island Salon. And we'll look back on some of the best of Shell Point Today from 2014, with a gallery showing at the art studio, and a visit with Project Development Director Bob Southern about the construction of the LifeQuest Aquatic Center. But first, today, Finemark Bank is hosting a presentation along with the Lee County Sheriff's Department on fraud prevention. They will be covering detecting and defending against fraud, scams, and identity theft. This event takes place in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands from 4 o'clock until 5 o'clock p.m. Seating is limited, so please RSVP to Anna Smith at 461-5930, or you can do so by email at asmith@finemarkbank.com. Tonight is the night for the boat ride to see the Charlotte Harbor Holiday Lights. Court pickups for this outing begin at 2:20 p.m., with an approximate return time of 10 o'clock p.m. The cost is $26 with dinner on your own before the boat tour at Fisherman's Village in Punta Gorda. Sign up at either service desk. Tomorrow, the Legacy Foundation will present a 2014 year-end wrap-up and outlook for 2015 for investors. Dave Moreland and Jason Scoggins from the UBS Financial Group will be the featured speakers. The event starts at 10 a.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. And now, Robyn Church has some gift ideas for you from the Island Salon.
Hi, welcome to the Island Salon. My name is Robyn Church and I'm the salon manager, and Christmas is in the air here. So I just wanted to share some wonderful gift ideas. We have some great gift boxes that you can fill with whatever you think that someone special might like. We have some examples set up here, as well as we've got our Christmas lotions. So all of our customers now coming in before Christmas receive a lotion. And those are always a lot of fun to give away. And they smell fantastic. We have over here also our gift certificates. Who wouldn't want a little pampering at the salon? What a great way to just relax, unwind, especially after that busy holiday season. If you'd like to purchase any of these things, we even have a couple of gift boxes at the Arbor Salon. Please feel free to stop in and we can personalize them just for you. And gift certificates will also hand deliver into the mailboxes the week of Christmas. Thank you from the salon, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and have a wonderful holiday. Thank you.
The artists of the art studio in the Island Tunnel have a tradition going. They are regularly hanging art showings based on a selected theme. This time it was around Fort Myers. The construction of the LifeQuest Aquatic Center was a major undertaking. It was finished earlier this year. We had a time-lapse camera running that captured the entire building process. After it was all finished, we sat down with ShellPoint Director of Project Development, Bob Southern, to get some behind-the-scenes insight about the project.
Hi everybody, it's Jared Pike here with ShellPoint TV. With me is Bob Southern, the Director of Project Development. And today, we're going to look at footage that we've shot of the Aquatic Center, the LifeQuest Aquatic Center, as it's being built. We're going to start with the very first step after the old island pool closed. So you had to tear out all of this vegetation.
Yeah, this machine is, when it's run by a good operator, can be very particular in how it works. I mean, it grabs, and it can grab specific items, and it can work in a way that separates materials, and they use it in that way to separate parts of a building that can be recycled from parts of a building that just have to be trashed. So in this particular case, they're just removing palm trees, but when a building is being torn down, they can separate the metals that they can sell and make money from the stuff that just goes to the dump. So a good operator uses that in a way that is really interesting to watch, and it almost works like a hand and a thumb.
Talk about why digging out of the soil was such an important part of the process.
Well, back in the early days of the construction of Shell Point, and back in those days in the mid-1960s, vegetation that was on a site was often just knocked over, perhaps sometimes burned, but was not removed. And fill was brought in and just placed on top of it. Well, that vegetation over time turned into a substance similar to peat moss, and it was very compressible. So you had a substance under there that was often several feet thick that was like a sponge that you could mash down. So it created a situation where buildings would mash that loamy substance down and settle. And that is not a good thing for buildings, which creates settling floors, cracking walls, and other problems that we have seen in a number of the earlier buildings that were constructed at Shell Point. It's often referred to as muck. And it smells like muck when you dig it up. You know you're digging it up because it smells bad.
That's a technical term.
That's a very technical construction term, but you dig down to it and you remove it, and you dig down to the point where you get down to good, clean soil underneath of it, and you haul it off, and you bring good, clean, compactable fill back in, and you compact it as you fill the hole where it came out of, and you build it up to the level that you're going to build on. Now, that's not bad soil. It's a good topsoil. And we do use that in perimeters of projects and in places as a topsoil. So we didn't just waste it.
But it's not a good foundation.
It's not a good foundation. It's not compactable. We went down and got it out of there.
Well, let's orient people. Right now, we're looking from the second floor of the guest house. This is where our camera was located, and it took a picture every 30 seconds for 6 months. So we documented the entire construction process. And right now, Bob, can you describe kind of what stage the construction is in at this very beginning of the video?
Yes, and you're looking over the construction superintendent's little trailer there. And this is at the point where the muck has been removed, and we're just starting to try to pour the foundation on the left-hand portion of the picture where the pool house is going to go. And this was back in the summer, and it was raining a lot back then, you may remember, and we were trying to prepare for the concrete pour, and I think the guys actually did it like 4 or 5 times, because every time they get the site ready for concrete, we get a heavy rain and wash out all the soil that was there ready for concrete. So it took a better part of a week on what should have been a day's worth of work to get that ready for concrete. And that was one of the reasons that the job was later to finish in the other end, because of those heavy rains we had during last summer.
Is the rainy season anyway,
Yes.
but this was particularly
And
bad.
especially heavy rain time.
Yeah. Now, so they're preparing the building on the left. No, the building on the right, what is that?
The building on the right is combination storage for chairs and tables and whatnot on one side, and pool equipment, chemicals, pumps, filters, that kind of equipment out there.
So they poured the concrete, they poured the footers, and I see they've got blocks there. Tell me what these guys are doing.
These are the block masons, the guys with the really big arms. You hardly have to speed up this film for that because those guys are just quick. And they know what they're doing when you get good ones, and they lay block in a hurry. And when they get in and get going, they'll have a wall up for you very quickly. And so they're blocking the main exterior walls of the building and any interior walls that also need to be blocked, and getting it up to the point where you're ready to form out and pour the tie beam around the top of the block, and then getting ready for the roof trusses.
Now, in the meantime, I see stakes going up kind of where the main pool is going to be. The hole isn't dug yet, is it?
No, the hole isn't dug. They start to lay out the site and determine where the pool is going to go, what the shape is going to be, and where a lot of the underground piping needs to go. There is a network of pipes that bring water in, take water out, move it from the scuppers and the main drains at the bottom of the pool. So there's a large network of pipes under there, and there's a huge support system of reinforcement steel that has to be established to hold the concrete shell in place, to try to make sure you don't ever have any settlements or cracks in that shell. Obviously, a crack in a building is bad. A crack in a pool is real bad. So the steel and then the reinforcement steel, how and where it's placed, is critical.
And they had to do this process for several different pools. It wasn't just one pool.
Yes, we actually had 2 full pools and the hot tub out there. And the main pool had a very interesting shape with its lap pools and its deeper swimming area, and the kind of the throat that connected those two. And then it also had the zero entrance feature. So it was a multi-faceted pool in itself. And then the exercise / therapy pool had the interesting ramp that went into that pool. So it had a very neat, interesting feature in itself, and had a lot of steel and concrete in that also. So there was a lot of layout work to get all that steel in, working in and around all those pipes and water movement pipes that you need to get the water in and water out.
I want to bring people's attention to the right here, this little bobcat that's moving dirt. What are they doing here?
They have to create places to put the water that fills into the pool holes. The groundwater is very close to the surface here in the island at Shell Point. You can practically take a soup spoon and dig down a few inches and get water. So when you're digging a hole that you have to build in, you've got to be constantly pumping water out of that hole. So in order to do that on this site, we created a retention pond, and from the pool hole sites, we were pumping the water from the pool into these retention ponds that were temporary in nature. We couldn't get a permit to just dump this water out into a storm drain and out into the canals, so we had to keep it on site.
So you're managing both dirt and water.
Dirt and water, that's correct.
Now let's talk about what's happening here. They're digging the hole for
the hot tub.
And then I see wooden forms going up in the exercise pool.
That's right. They're starting to shape that the sides of that pool, and working on the steel, the reinforcement steel that will hold that concrete in place.
Okay, and now I see them really going to town on the main pool, digging out the hole.
Yes, and they're still pumping water into those retention areas.
And then here's the trusses.
So a lot of things are happening around the site at once, a lot of coordination. You see a lot of trucks and people coming and going. It's a tight spot, and a lot was going on, and the superintendent on the site had to make sure everybody played nice and got along and did their work with a minimum of knocking heads in the process.
Let's take a look at building this, this cupola here.
We designed a fairly elaborate little roof feature, the cupola, and the structure to accommodate that. And the guys are finishing the basic roof structure, and then they start working on that cupola, the structure of that feature. And it had some openings in it and places for light and air to move through it. The entire aquatic center deserved a nice little feature right there at its entrance. So that's why we put the time and effort into that building and that roof design.
So this shop, Bob, I happen to know this started at 4 in the morning, pouring concrete for the main pool. Talk about this day.
Well, often when you're pouring concrete, particularly in the summertime or when it's hot, you've got to start early and try to get the bulk of the work done before it gets very hot, so that it doesn't set up too quickly.
And let's describe for people this gunite process. Describe, because this isn't just mixing concrete and pouring it, they're actually shooting it out of a gun.
Yes, they are. You can see there, it comes out, again, it's very dry, and they are controlling this hose, and it comes out of the truck very dry, and they build it up. And they just keep spraying in the same area and building it up until it covers the reinforcement steel, and it gets out to the thickness that they want it. And you can see all the steel there that they have to cover, and it takes a good while to do that. And after it gets out close to where they want it, then they have some finish guys work it a bit to give it kind of the final shape that they want. It is difficult work, and it's takes a lot of strength and a lot of endurance, and that machine doesn't quit, and it doesn't let up. There's not easier times. It just keeps shooting that concrete.
So while that happened and now the concrete forms are set up, here we have the roofing material here. It's like a jigsaw puzzle almost.
Yeah, this is a type of metal roofing that's been used in Florida or something very similar to it for a long time, and it has an old Florida look to it. And the pieces are cut and fit as you follow along the roof edges, and then they have some cap pieces that go with it. And these guys are very experienced in what they do to make those pieces fit and cut them to fit and make sure that we don't have leaks in the design, but it's a very reliable roof that lasts for a lot of years.
Tomorrow, we'll see part 2 of this conversation with Bob. But now, let's take a look at today's happenings, menus, and Village Church connections.
Welcome to the happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley, and I'm here with Caitlin Van Scoy, and we're going to tell you what's going on here at Shell Point today. We're going to start bright and early at 7:15 with Health Connections class. This is Bend, Breathe, and Balance. That's held in the Health Club on the island. Pickleball will be played at 8 o'clock at the pickleball court. Also at 8 o'clock, we have the round robin doubles tennis at the Woodlands Tennis Court. 8:15 is the time the stamp ministry will be at the stamp room down in the tunnel. And bocce will be played at the Woodlands Bocce Court at 8:30. Also at 8:30, we have the Ladies Golf Association playing at the Shell Point Golf Club. 9:15 is the time for the Caregiver Support Group and Memory Care Group. That's on the second floor of the Rehab Center. You do need to sign up in advance for that. At 9:15, we have open painting down in the art studio. Match play mixed doubles tennis will be at the tennis courts at 9:30. Now 10 o'clock is the time the Susie Q is heading to Nervous Nellie's for lunch. You do need to sign up at the Island Greeters desk. From 10 to 12, the photo gallery and studio will be open for tours. 10:15, we have Through the Bible Bible Study Group at the Osprey Room. The caregiver support group and memory care group will be meeting at 10:30. Go to the second floor of the rehab center. We have a Health Connections class at 11:45, Healthy Living with Michelle at the Osprey Room on the island. Wow, that's a busy morning. Here's Caitlin for your afternoon.
Thank you, Bev. We start off the afternoon with 12 p.m. the string ensemble performance in the Commons lobby at the Woodlands. At 12:30 we have mixed progressive bridge in the game room at the Woodlands. And at 1:15 the Knitters group will be in the Osprey Room on the island. The Rollicking Recorderist will be meeting at 1:15 in the Tarpon Room down in the Island Tunnel. If you like shuffleboard, come down at 1:15 to play at the shuffleboard courts on the island. Also at 1:15, the Women's Ministries Prayer will be meeting in the Hospitality Room at the Village Church. We have a Health Connections class at 1:30, Aqua Pilates Stretch at the LifeQuest Aquatic Center, and that'll be on the island. For those of you who volunteer with the Stamp Ministry, come down at 1:30 to the Sable Room at the Woodlands. From 2 to 4, the photo gallery and studio will be open for viewing on the island, and that will be in the tunnel. At 2:30, court pickups start for the Charlotte Harbor Holiday Lights Tour. 2:30 pickups on the island, 2:40 Woodlands, and 2:50 Eagles Preserve estuary. And this is currently full. At 2:45, we have a Health Connections class, Balance and Mobility Training Level 2, and that's at the Health Club on the island, and it's currently closed. 3:15, the Celebration Ringers rehearsal is in the choir room at the Village Church. 4 o'clock, Find Mark Bank is presenting Fraud, Scams, and Identity Theft in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. Well, that wraps up the happenings for today. We'll see you right back here tomorrow.
Menus for Tuesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is seafood Newburg with white rice and asparagus. The dinner special is Build Your Own Stir Fry for $13.95, and the soup of the day is cream of mushroom. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a Mile High hot corned beef sandwich with fries for $7.25. The dinner special is your choice of a hot dog or a burger with a side salad, watermelon, and ice cream for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are baked ham for $15.95 or T-bone steak for $19.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hello, my name is Sue Stranahan, and I'm here with Jan Emrich. Jan and I are on staff at the Village Church, and we are here to talk about the most recent food drive for the South Fort Myers Food Pantry. Jan, you and your husband Lee have been leaders in the food pantry for at least 6 years since it began, and during that period of time you've spearheaded several food drives. So can you tell us about this most recent food drive that we had at Shell Point?
Our Thanksgiving food drive this year was very successful. We collected 1,147 pounds of food, and in monetary donations we collected $4,182. If you use food pantry math, which is $1 equals 6 in buying power, we in actuality have collected $25,092 to purchase food through the Harry Chapin Food Bank.
Those are very impressive statistics. How do they compare with other food drives that we've had in the past?
Actually, we're on about the same target for each food drive that we have. This year, we were only able to have 2 food drives because of the renovation of the church. So for the total for 2014, for 2 food drives, we collected 2,271 pounds of food and $7,466 in cash donations, which if you multiply that out again by $6, the buying power for the total year from the Village Church in Shell Point was over $44,000 worth of food.
That'll go a long way to feeding families in South Fort Myers.
It certainly will.
Who participates in these food drives?
Well, the Village Church and the Shell Point Retirement Community do that. Many of the departments, such as resident activities, help to support this. We generally have bins all over the campus, and anyone who wants to participate can take advantage of those.
I've often wondered about this, and I wonder if maybe somebody else has the same question. Could you walk us through the journey that these donations take from the time they're left off at the village church until they appear in the shopping cart of a client at the food pantry?
Well, it's a really very short time. Actually, our food drives generally run through Sunday. Monday morning, prior to 8 o'clock, all the food is packaged in the reusable bags that many people give us. And we have one of our volunteers comes with his van and picks up the food that Monday morning. It's delivered to the food pantry before 9 o'clock in the morning. It is then marked and sorted and put out on the shelves. So by Monday night, most of the food that's been collected is gone already.
Not much shelf time, is there?
No, there really is not, no. Because we get such a variety of food, our clients are very happy to see the different things that we have to offer.
Now, you mentioned that we'd had 2 food drives this year. Are there ways that people can support the food pantry in between food drives?
There are. Number one, our deacon board from the village church supports the food pantry on a monthly basis. And those donations come from the benevolent offering that we take on the first Sunday of each month. So people certainly can donate through the benevolent fund. And then if they have food that they would like to drop off to the church, all they need to do is call me, and I'm happy to accept it, and we'll get it to the food pantry in a short amount of time.
Well, Jan, thank you so much for your efforts on behalf of the South Fort Myers Food Pantry, you and Lee. And thank you to everyone who participates and contributes to this program that makes it the overwhelming success that it is.
It's very much appreciated.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow when we'll see what's cooking at Shell Point with Ruth Duber. And we'll see part 2 of our chat with Bob Southern about the construction of the Aquatic Center. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Tuesday, December 16th. I'm Adam Brown, and for all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.